Patriarchy. It exists, it's a real thing, and I'm going to present evidence in this video to demonstrate that.
Hello, and welcome again to the Confused Canuck. Today I'm going to be looking at Kristi Winter's video for evidence for the patriarchy. So Kristi's video is about 20 minutes long. The first 13 minutes she discusses a conversation between King Canuck and Steve Shives, her credentials, and some of the ways that they can figure out things in social science. To be honest, I'm not too concerned with that. I mean, if I was to delve into that, this video would be like 2 hours long, and we just can't have that. So I've gone and cut that section out of this video. Now there's about 7 minutes of argumentation to go through.
I want to go ahead and provide some information on patriarchy, because we're going to move now into our patriarchy section of the video.
Yay!
To define the terms, I'm going to go ahead and call patriarchy a social system in which power is held by men through cultural norms and customs that favor men and withhold opportunity from women. In contrast to this, I want to put up political egalitarianism, which is where the members of a society have equal standing in terms of political power or influence.
Okay, so we got patriarchy and we have egalitarianism. Got it.
In order to test the idea of patriarchy, you have to create a testable statement that predicts what the world would look like if the causal mechanisms that you identify to be in place are in place. Right? That's our alternative hypothesis. If there's no effect, that's called the null hypothesis. So here, I'm actually going to use egalitarianism as the null hypothesis to measure whether or not patriarchy has an influence.
So, viewers at home, did you catch the problem with the argument? But you know what? Maybe I'm being a little unfair here. Let's let Kristi explain herself.
So if everything is egalitarian and 50-50 or equally distributed in a fair way, that's egalitarianism, but it shows that patriarchy has no effect. So that is why I'm framing it that way. So therefore, the null hypothesis is men and women hold an equal number of positions of political power or influence in elected positions. That would be the egalitarian social system. The alternative hypothesis is men hold a disproportionate number of positions of political power or influence in elected positions. And that, if we can reject the null hypothesis based on the evidence, then we have to accept the alternative hypothesis.
So what Kristi's trying to do here is present a dichotomy. Either it's patriarchy or we see egalitarianism. Now the real dichotomy that she should be using is either patriarchy exists or patriarchy does not exist. So with a little sleight of hand, what Kristi attempts to do is she attempts to say patriarchy not existing is equal to egalitarianism. But that's something you have to prove, not merely assert. Let's listen a little longer and see if we can have a little fun with her argument.
In terms of operationalizing these terms, I don't think that egalitarian has to be exactly 50-50. I think there's obviously a range of distribution that's acceptable. So for the purposes of just creating some lines, I'm going to say that distributions that are within 45% to 55% distributed between men and women are close enough to be considered egalitarian. Whereas if men hold anywhere above 56%, and again, you can do this again on your own with your own data at 60% and 65%, wherever you think egalitarianism is appropriately contained to. But for this one, we're going to look at 56 to 100%. That's an indication of a patriarchal system.
So, let's have some fun here. I'm going to propose a new social system that disadvantages women. It's called Beaver-iarchy. Now, if you know anything about us beavers, we love our tails. And as such, we're going to advantage or prop up any human that exhibits a tail. Now, women, they don't have tails. But men can have tails. Albeit they're on the wrong end. But they still have tails. So in egalitarian societies, we expect to see men and women in positions of power close to 50-50. And in situations where that doesn't exist, in situations where men hold positions of power between 56 to 100, we're going to call that an indication of Beaver-iarchy. And that's what we call a sound argument. Thanks again for watching. Please be sure to subscribe, share with your friends, or comment. It is very much appreciated. Have a great one.